That's better. Really a very, very good, very highly skilled player off his legs. And Australia should know now that that's not the place to bowl to. So the first boundary, very nicely tickled away down to long leg for 4. Well, he steered that away off a 3/4 edge down the third man. Nobody in that area, so Mike Brearley collects his second boundary of the morning. Fed it down pretty well, no great bounce, just angled it away off a 3/4 edge. Well, that's on his leg stump, worked very comfortably, very easily through mid-wicket. Dyson giving chase. Should have 3 runs here very comfortably. So this is going to do Mike Brearley a power of good. After that one terrible shot in the first over, he's recovered his cool, his calm, and is moved on now to 12. Cool, his calm, and is moved on now to 12. Well, that's not quite where he intended it. We're going to hit that square on the leg side, but it fairly raced away down to that press box at the far end. So brings Geoff Boycott his first boundary of the morning.
I think Geoff was perhaps a little slow on that, and he was playing it square.
What a good delivery. It drew Boycott into the stroke. Alderman has broken through on a pitch where there really isn't anything there for the bowlers. A very good away swinger that started Boycott on the stroke and then had him follow it all the way to find an edge to Rodney Marsh. A very good piece of bowling that from Terry Alderman. 29 for 1, with Boycott caught Marsh, bowled Alderman for 13. In the air, Hogger's caught him, Gower's gone, and that's a great break again for Alderman. An attempted bouncer that didn't really get up. I think we'll see when we have a second look at it that the ball came through, well, round about waist high, perhaps a fraction higher, although it was meant to be a flyer. And Rodney Hogg, the simplest of chances there. Gower caught Hogg, bowled Alderman, no score, 29 for 2. Mark straight away. 30 for 2, 13 to Brearley, 1 to Graham Gooch. I'm not getting excited about it. The fielder says he thought he caught it, but we'll just wait and see what happens with the umpires. I had the feeling that it might have reached there on the half volley. Dickie Bird wasn't sure. We can have a look at it again.
Outside edge, no doubt about that. Who'd like to make a decision from here?
Shot for 4 and a no ball called as well.
Now moving Terry Alderman from that far end, the city end, 49 for 2, with Brearley on 14 to face. And that's pushed out very quietly into the offside. Good run in between these two, making 3 out of it, because it was little more than a defensive push, but it's sufficient to bring up the 50 for England. And Brearley going on to 17, 52 for 2, coming up in the 22nd over. And that's a very confident shout. A minute's delay, and up goes the finger of Dickie Bird. And a very disconsolate Graham Gooch there makes his way back. So the third England wicket going down with a score on 60, and it's Gooch's turn to go this time, out for 21. Caught by Marsh off the bowling of Ray Bright in his very first over. That's 4 runs. A really short delivery outside the off stump, made for putting away, which is exactly what Mike Brearley did with it. Lovely square cut, brings him 4.
Just 4 more runs added there to take the total on to 68 for 3 at lunch, with Mike Brearley hanging in very, very grimly at 25 not out. Good bowling from Alderman, 2 wickets, and a bonus for Ray Bright picking up Graham Gooch's wicket just before lunch after he'd made 21 in pretty good style. We pick up play now in the second ball after lunch. Alderman is the bowler. He's coming into bowl to Mike Gatting. No more runs added, and with me in the commentary box is Tom Gravely. Not quite where he meant it to get off the mark. So there it goes down in the scorebook. There's no real benefit from the breeze here, so there's no reason why Lilly shouldn't bowl from that end, nor is there any help from the slope of the ground.
That's very well taken by Rodney Marsh. He moves very quickly down the leg side. That ball doesn't carry. He gets right behind it.
Before more, no third man. I'm a little obscured here on the side of our commentary box, but you can bet your life there's no one down there.
Really speaking, on a wicket like this, if the batsmen get in, there are runs galore down there.
That could be out. It is indeed a wide one, and Balder's the man that does the trick, with the aid, of course, of Dennis Lilly. A nod in response to the congratulations of the Australian fielders. Dennis Lilly strikes, removing the England captain Mike Brearley out for 48. Been there since the start, and like Geoff Boycott, chasing a rather wide one. A generous round of applause for the England captain for Balder bowled Lilly 48. That's a fine shot. In front of square. Oh, that's a beautiful stroke. No need to run. It was a very forceful stroke indeed to get off the mark. Lilly trying to tempt him as he did Brearley.
See this wide open stance. He still gets through, hits that bat right through the line of the ball.
That's a lovely stroke from Peter Willey, racing away off the sun-baked outfield here at Edgbaston for 4. Second 4. Mike really survived throughout the pre-lunch session when the score was 68 for 3. He was on 25, getting on 0, and Brearley's the only man to fall so far. Oofs. Well, the bounce beat him there. You had that covered, did Yallop, but the speed of the ball, pitching in some old footmarks, beat Yallop, and away it went for 4. that's a chance. Well, he made a great effort there, did Dennis Lillee. His weight taking him away from the ball, and certainly a misstroke from Peter Willey.
Peter Willey gets back and tries to thrash this one back. It's certainly carried. In fact, a fine effort by Dennis Lillee that he should come so far back in his run-up. But it's some inches off the ground when he gets to it.
And that's out. Alderman's done it, and Lillee is the bowler again. Another wide delivery, and that was a fine catch by Terry Alderman. Gatting is out for 21. Dennis Lillee takes his second wicket, and really Gatting contributed to his own downfall there. And the roar of applause greeting the headingly hero, Ian Botham. I can't remember when a batsman coming to the wicket received such an ovation. And in its own way, an innings, if not of the same tempo, certainly with the same kind of responsibility is required from the former England captain here today, with England on 126 for 5 on a beautiful batting wicket. And while Ian Botham comes in, takes guard and settles down, let's just have a look at this again. A full-length delivery, getting not quite to the pitch of the ball, and that flies off the outside edge, but Alderman, with very, very fast reactions indeed, snaps that up off away to his right. The 5th England wicket to fall, 126 for 5. What a confrontation. Lillee with his tail up against Botham. Whoa. Wow, that was a blow of massive authority and no little strength.
Cheeky, very cheeky. It's the shot of a man who made 149 not out at Headingley. It's a well-timed stroke from Loosener from Hogg. And way down at deep fine leg, John Dust. 3 runs. Peter Willey. Oh, well done, well bowled. He did it to Botham at Lord's, and he's done it again out of the foot marks, this time to Willey. And I don't think that was an accident. It was too wide out to be a bad delivery, that. Sneaked it out into the bowler's rough and spun it behind the pads.
And we've seen a very intelligent piece of bowling here. As you see, that pitch is outside the leg stump. It's very well up to Peter Willey, which makes it very difficult to sweep.
Oh, that's uppish but safe, and it's 4. The one thing about playing like this, Tom Graveney, is that if you're going to flash hard, it goes for miles off the edge.
Well, there's no doubt about Ian Botham flashing hard. He's a very strong young man. Here it is, well short. He's flashing away there. Just pulls that front foot away. You see him leaning back a bit.
And there's the first big blow. That's a huge stroke. Where has it gone? Well, they're just having a look to see if that carried for 6. Umpire Don Oslier deciding a pitch just inside the ropes. But a massive blow of authority from Ian Botham. It'll be a couple. Kim Hughes is after it. John Embry off the mark. Came in just before tea. Just blocked out an over from Ray Bright. And there's no doubt that the longer that John Embry can stay there and play with the kind of authority that he's showing at the moment, the greater will Ian Botham's confidence grow. That he's found somebody who can exist out there at the other end with him. Oh, I spoke too soon. A catch? Well, Graham Wood putting that down. And that is a catch which a top-class slip fielder should have caught.
Very good delivery this, leaving him slightly off the wicket. No, pretty straight really. And Graham Wood never really getting his hands together there.
And what a wicket that is for Terry Alderman. Outside of Jeff Boycott, that's the wicket that Australia really are exceptionally glad to get. And it'd be very interesting to see whether that ball did anything or whether Ian Botham just played up the wrong line.
Here comes the replay. And from behind, it really looks like a very, very straight ball. Perhaps see it a little bit better from the far end, but great blow for Australia that, because as he showed at Headingley, Ian Botham can turn a match upside down if he stays in. And here we're looking at it from the City end, and looks absolutely dead straight, and Ian Botham playing all round it.
And that's a beat him for pace. Second wicket in the over for Terry Alderman. Bob Taylor is out for naught. And England are 161 for 8.
Well, this really is astonishing. Mind you, Bob Taylor probably didn't think he was going to have to bat today. And he's just played all the way inside that. Through him. He was a little bit late on the shot. And Terry Alderman notches his 4th wicket.
Oh, and a huge shot for LBW. Everybody, including Gully, went up for that. And umpire Dickie Bird absolutely unmoved. He's had to make a couple of awkward decisions today, has Dickie.
I think there's the answer where that ball pitches. Just outside the leg stump. Certainly would have knocked the lot down.
And although Chris Old is a bit suspect against pace bowling, he has scored the 2nd fastest 100 ever in first-class cricket. Playing a bit like that. Yes, they're going for 2. And he's bowled him right across at John Embry. Perfectly straight ball. And the 9th English wicket falls on 165.
Togging action now to Willis. Sliced away over the top of mid-off. He's picked his spot again pretty well. And Bob Willis knows there's no need to run for this. He knows this ground very well, knows how fast it is. The old shot again, quite unique the way he can lift it over that area at cover point in the offside, bounces away for 4 runs. comfortable run up there. And that's edge, and it's beautifully taken by Rod Marsh to end that last wicket stand. Bob Willis goes for 13. England all out for 189, and the applause not only there for Rod Marsh but for bowler Terry Alderman. That means it's 5 wickets again in a test match for him, and his 25th wicket to date in this series.
Indeed, it was a great display by Terry Alderman. 5 wickets in an innings again in a test match. You must reckon this is quite an easy game. Top score there, Mike Brearley, 48. Everyone up the top there got a start except Gower, but they were just not quite able to go on with it. Both of them second top score with 26. And those bowling figures, I suspect the Australians could hardly believe their good fortune when they walked off the field, needing only 190 to go ahead of England. Lilly, 2 for 61. Hogg, 1 for 49. Bright, 2 for 20. And Alderman, 23.1 overs, 8 maidens, 5 for 42. An absolutely tremendous performance. Well, here's the start of the Australian innings. It's the first over, no runs on the board, and it's the 4th ball. Willis is coming in to bowl to Graham Wood. He's around the wicket, and in the commentary box, Jim Laker, and Mike Smith is with me as well.
Wood quickly away after hurry, and the throw not a good one. Wild throw to bring overthrows in the end. I just think John Dyson had his heart in his mouth there. Graham Wood has got something of a reputation as a runner out of batsman.
Oh, bowled him. And a good delivery, again beaten for pace, and I reckon when we see that the second time we'll find that Dyson was so much beaten for pace that he was in the end aiming away towards mid-wicket. And that's just the spot from where Chris Holt came. A no ball, and it's 2 runs anyway to Alan Border, takes him off the mark. And he's gone. Caught at the wicket by Bob Taylor, very low down. Chris Holt has broken through again. What a good spell this is. In his 5th over, he now has 2 for 1. Well, what about that? 19 for...
That's beaten Gower. Gathering pace, it's fairly racing away. Gower, swiftest man in the side. And there's nothing he can do about it. Really, no great power in that shot. He simply stroked it into the offside. Old again. And that's racing away. 4 more. No third man. It's the second time he's pushed that away to that very big gap, and I think Embry now is on his way back to third man to stay there.
Confident shot for that. Did he hit it? Certainly the wicketkeeper, bowler and the slips thought that that was a possibility.
And it's certainly very close if he didn't hit it. Round about leg stump.
It's a fine stroke beating Boycott, and probably on this very dry outfield will race away for 4. Boycott's after it, but won't make it. Bringing the 50 up. And Ray Bright's 4th 4 of them all. Good striking rate at just over 2.2 per over. Bob Willis goes over the wicket to the right-handed Bright. Oh, that was a beautiful delivery, the best of the morning. This was just outside the off stump. It runs away from the bat. That was a beautiful bit of bowling. That got Bright committed to the stroke, but in fact it did a bit too much. It wasn't quite good enough to edge that. Oh, there's a huge shout, and that's it. LBW. Ian Botham strikes for England. The first wicket of the morning. Ray Bright is out for 27. LBW Botham, and the third Australian wicket is down at 62. And he's off the mark. Peter Willey. Tootie Hughes. And remember the England total 189. Australia 64 for 3. He tried the bouncer and paid the penalty. That's 4.
That right in the middle of the bat, Graham Wood. For one instant, it looked as though the bounce of the ball might have defeated him. It didn't get up at all.
Yes, Ian Botham banged this one in, and it really didn't get very high at all. Just about stump high. A magnificent shot.
Shot for 4. The outfield's quick, no need to run. Beautifully placed that. A very good piece of cricket that from Hughes. A slower ball from Embry, which might easily have produced the defensive stroke. In fact, he made good ground to it. Up for Australia. A little miscue by Hughes. Oh, well bowled. That's a beautiful piece of bowling. The quicker one that swings in the air, the arm ball, and it started round about leg stump.
That really was a superb piece of bowling, and it must have been extremely close.
Way down at third man is Crisald. Good partnership applauded there by this good crowd present at Edgbaston. Then Crisald is there, and that's a good throw. Misfield by David Gowan, awkward bounce there. Nothing wrong with the infield there, it was just the bounce that defeated him and gave Hughes 4 runs. No ball called, so that lets Yallop off the mark.
It's a problem that Bob Willis has had throughout his career, but it certainly does help Graham Yallop in these circumstances to relieve the pressure.
Very close, but he's probably just outside off stump, and he was playing a stroke. wicket.
Was it high, or was it doing a little bit too much?
I don't think those slow hand claps will do very much good. No ball called again, so it's one more for the table. Well short of both of them, and 4 runs. Now, that was also very short. Now, Harold Bird is having a word, just suggesting, got to take it by the actions here, cool it, I think is probably the operative phrase. Hughes got the outside edge there, way past Bertham at second slip, and a little bit of applause came. I suspect it might have been the Australian captain applauding Willis. 140 for 4, 37 to Kim Hughes now, and Yallop has strike to Embury. Yallop's on 3. Shot for 4. Not one that will have pleased John Embury's captain very much. It's Willis to Yallop. Graham Yallop will realise after a bit more out there in the centre that this is a very placid pitch, and the only time the ball really is going to bounce at him is when it's dropped in very, very short. He's made 9 now, and that total of 150 for 4. The applause in the background. Shot. That's a fine stroke. Nothing flamboyant about it. He just picked it off very neatly off the hip.
The penalty of attacking showing there with 4 runs coming to Graham Yallop. Not the most convincing stroke of the day, but with everybody up for the catch, that was 4. They're certainly on the point of conceding a lead to Australia, and it'll be up to the England bowlers to try and keep that lead down to as little as possible. And there's a big shout for that, and that's out. He's given it out, Don Oz there, after a long deliberation. Took a long time to make up his mind, and why shouldn't he? Because it's an important decision to make. Chris Houle strikes with his 3rd wicket, and Australia's Kim Hughes is out for 47. LBW to Old with a total on 166. That must be out, is it? No, just wide of Peter Willey. And Ian Botham bowled that bouncer exactly for that kind of stroke. Kent will be relieved to get off the mark. Oh, they're going for one now. If that hits the wickets, that's out. Well, the tension and the nerves really showing there. And that really was an extraordinary run. They both hesitated in the middle. Neither was sure where they were going to go. Look at the ball just missing the stumps, and Yallop is 5 yards down the pitch. That's an elegant stroke from Martin Kent. Gower's after it, but the ball will win that race. 4 runs.
Steered wide of Gower, comfortably this time, and just walked the single. Big Bob Willis going on from the 3rd man, so the applause for the first innings lead here for Australia. This is the 5th over of this present spell for Chris Houle. Seems normally in these matches to bowl in about 5 or 6 over spells. This is in fact his 4th spell of the innings, on now to his 21st over. Oh, it's a great shot. Oh, that was a shot of a player brought up on a very good wicket. It hit with tremendous power. That's 4 runs. Cracked away off the back foot, racing down to that 3rd-man boundary. Kent been very quick to seize on anything just short of a length. Wraps the 200 out with that fine shot. He moves on to 17, 200 for 5. That was in there a long time. Must have been a fairly thick edge off to the pad. I think again Yallop was having a change of heart. And I think Mike got in there beaten by the flight as much as anything else.
And I think, very interesting here, I think he starts to sweep. And I think that's what puts Mike Gatting off, actually. As soon as he started to sweep, Mike got on his back foot, not quite knowing where the ball was going to go.
And well bowled. Finally broken through. Embry's got rid of Yallop. Nice piece of variation, a little bit of a flight, made it into a Yorker, hit across it, and he goes for 30. So 203 for 6, Australia, and Embry takes his first wicket. Solidly away. It's just as well there's no gully in there. He found a big gap, but in the air. And Rodney Marsh off the mark. And the contest resumed between Botham and Marsh. Oh, there's trouble here. Well, there's always one golden rule: get yourself between the ball and the wicket and you've got a chance.
And they've never said a true word. A real mix-up here, and not half a run, really. And they go, they stop, they start, and Martin Kent right in the way. And he certainly would have been out then.
Bowled him, and that's beautifully bowled. Splendid piece of cricket that by John Embry. The arm ball that came back in the air and then kept on when it landed on the seam. Safe, away over the steps there, quite deliberate. Now then. And this is how it happened as the throw came in. Lilly had turned for 2 and was coming back. And he just had this meeting there with Willis, who was standing on the edge of the pitch. There's a lot of chat out there. We'll get some action in a moment. No ball, call again. Just about every time Bob Willis has dug one in out there, he's bowled a no ball. Just that little bit of extra effort. bouncer. But there's no great lift for any of the bowlers from this pitch. Very placid surface. Which makes it all the more astonishing that still no one has got halfway to 3 figures. That shout was from the crowd, I think, not from umpire Bird. No problem with that. It was 4 off the bat. And umpire Bird saying, would he please keep off the pitch?
That's a wayward delivery. And it's brought a wicket. Half volley outside the leg stump, absolutely made for it, but another very good running catch there by Bob Willis. Really has a very, very safe pair of hands. And nothing could have fallen better there for Mike Brearley to take a wicket for John Emburey there with the very last over before the new ball.
A bit more concentration on the batting and a bit less on the chat. And everyone might be better served out there. Gooch has obviously made some remark to Lillee, and so has Taylor.
They've come through for the single, and a terrific throw, and that in fact is Rodney Hogg, who's gone there, run out without ever receiving a ball. And real dead-eye Dick stuff there from Brearley. He measured the throw, he measured the accuracy of it and struck the middle stump. And that's it this time. If you bowl straight, he swings and misses, it's out. And so Emburey collects his 4th wicket, and Australia here finally dismissed for 258. Noble effort there from Dennis Lillee towards the end of the innings. He collected 18. Which leaves Terry Alderman undefeated on 3.
The Australians will be just about half pleased at that 258. They could have made a lot more. I suppose they could have got a few less as well, but the tail didn't really wag for them. The top score of 47. Hughes missing that elusive half-century that no one so far has reached. 30 to Yallop after a lot of traumas early in his innings, and a very good innings from Martin Kent, 46. A good selection that by the tour selectors, and a good innings from this young player. Well, Brearley and Boycott came out to open England's second innings, as they had in the first. Here's the first over. Dennis Lillee is the bowler to Geoff Boycott, and in the commentary box with Tom Graveney is Jim Laker.
Well, just managed to get the bat down there. In fact, it sees him off the mark. And a relief for him and all the thousands of Boycott supporters. Well, Terry Alderman has bowled very intelligently so far in this series, but I think they're well advised not to continue bowling there to Brearley.
Well, that's close. Must be, yes. And he's a bit unlucky, I think, Mike Brearley. A bit unlucky, because that kept very, very low. Brearley's LBW to Lillee for 13. That's his 2,000 runs in Test cricket. What a good way to bring it up. Shot beautifully timed and very well placed. Just racing away over that outfield.